G'day. Oh, who am I? G'day, I'm Frank. Some of you know me from G'day Frank, a small design business here in Sydney that I run with my wife Sam, and we've been running it now for about 18 months. So yeah, not that long, which means I don't have years under my belt running a creative agency and education platform like this guy, or written several books and provide unbelievable thought leadership like this guy. Nope, that ain't me. But what I do have is experience. Experience as a designer for the last 10 years, an experience of starting a business that doubled my salary in like 8 months or something like that, which was off the back of leaving a comfortable full-time design job of 7 years in TV production. Look, many of you know my story, and I'm not here to sell you on some bullshit 6-figure design business, ClickFunnels, blah. To be honest, I'm not here to sell you anything. You guys are my peers, my mentors, and hopefully my friends, even though we might not have met each other in person, as I've been lucky enough to make some great connections and build amazing relationships with some of you via social media. But this came off the back of staying in my lane and creating content for prospective clients and business owners, which I've come to absolutely fucking enjoy. Especially now because I've somehow pricked up the ears of you, my fellow designers, at the same time. Which brings me to why I'm here, standing right here and introducing you to G'day Design Life. So why this? Why now? Well, there was a point maybe late last year where I was spending an inordinate amount of time on Facebook groups and on Instagram to try and gain as much insight as I possibly could to better improve my design business. It was finding bits and pieces of learning based on bad and good experiences other designers were having. And by doing so, I was gaining a crazy amount of knowledge that is shared so freely in this vibrant online community that has, to me, popped up out of nowhere in the last couple of years. And I wondered to myself, where the hell was this 10 years ago? But what I found, or didn't find, was a resource that was contextual to my situation before and after starting my business. Sure, there is Christo and the future, which I've learned a hell of a lot from. And there's also a wide smattering of design/business related material that is vastly scattered across the internet, but they're all in different places. However, there wasn't something that spoke with an Australian voice to designers that were in my situation, especially from someone I could connect with and someone who was going through what I was going through, rather than someone who has been at this for years and is offering their macro view of things. And there are plenty of great people like that. If I go back to 2010, I'd always wanted to start my own business since the day I graduated from Western Sydney Uni. But what I hadn't realized was that starting a business would be a viable option. Rather than having to compete with thousands of other recent graduates, just from my year alone, to find a design job straight out of uni. And I think that was because we weren't primed to graduate with any other outcome in mind other than going straight into the workforce and getting a design related job. I mean, I applied to maybe 20 different design, advertising, marketing agencies and got one interview that didn't land me the job, which was an entry level $30,000 job that I was considered unqualified for. But the story remains the same today for many designers who are completing their degrees and courses. The goal is to prime you with the technical skills and walk out of there with a portfolio, resume, and references that only might get your foot in the door. But there's no design business acumen, any real-world client interaction experience, how to value your work, how to acquire and interact with clients and run that kind of engagement. Because when you're competing with upwards of 2,000 to 5,000 other job applicants that are graduating at the same time as you, good fucking luck. I graduated at the top of my class with distinction and still couldn't land a full-time job off the back of my portfolio, my grades and my resume alone. But this isn't meant to peg you down. This is the reality of it all, and possibly the problem with systemic design education, at least here in Australia, because I wasn't taught any of this. Having said that, I ended up getting my first design gig a few months later in TV production and stayed there for 7 years until I was ready to start my own business. But when I got to that point, which was this time 2 years ago, I was at that same roadblock. When I came to the conclusion that I wanted to start my own business, that gap of knowledge was evident and bugger me if I could find all the resources I needed in one place. I was learning from Facebook groups, blogs, legal websites, government websites, financial advisor websites, the future, books, YouTube. I got people in who knew how to help me understand the business, accounting, and legal side of starting a business. And those people helped me tremendously. If I could put it this way, it was like a learning curve that had a 90% grade of incline. And all this happened intensely in the space of 6 months before I started G'day Frank. And fuck me, I'm glad I did, because I learnt all of this while being a father of a newborn and basically couldn't fuck this up for my family or we'd be broke. Which is where I see so many falter in business, not just designers. And it's that lack of understanding of how to start a business and understanding if a business idea would even be viable. But more importantly, the realities of being a creative business owner and maintaining that resolve, which is a niche in itself of information, and it's why I'm starting G'day Design Life, to lift the rose-colored glasses to know what you're getting yourself into. And I say this because it's in this short amount of time I've been operating G'day Frank, owning a business isn't a 9-to-5 job. It's way more than that, not just the hours, but the 17 hats you need to be wearing. And in addition to this, I've experienced a handful of mind-blowing shifts in mindset and fundamentals that have changed the game initially for me. But when put into practice, there are these little things here and there that I realized when implementing some of these things, and they aren't quite talked about in the community, which is what I hope to share on G'day Design Life. So I want to fill the gap that I fell into and share what I've learned with nothing expected in return. Like, I'm talking about nothing, because I see this as my way of giving back to those that have helped me and connected with me, which is you, while at the same time helping others to cross this gap and be kick-ass Aussie designers that run successful businesses that will change your life, like it has for me and my family, which I know sounds bloody airy-fairy, but with calculated risk, a little bit of business know-how, truthfully, it can, and very, very quickly too. But this isn't to say I'm neglecting others in the global community. Hell no, because so much of what I've learned can be universally applied. There's going to be content that is contextually specific to Australia, which I'll make an effort to indicate this on any content I create by applying this little symbol, just so that you know which bits of content you can skip past if you wish. But what are my intentions with G'day Design Life? Because I'm all for being transparent so that you see what my goals are. So this whole idea came off the back of wanting to write the book. The book I couldn't find. I have the title in mind, I have the structure in mind, everything. However, I figured, fuck it. I thought to myself, you may as well give it all away for free, mate, and create a community or a team that comes together to play some ball, and hopefully we become spectacularly good at running our creative businesses together. If it turns into more than well-received content and transforms into that book, into an online community, into workshops or courses, fan-bloody-tastic. I'd much rather turn my attention to you now and pivot 90 degrees from the client-focused content I have been creating and connect directly with as many of you as I can. And to be totally real about it, I can't fucking wait to do so, because you are the guys that get me and I get you. Because here's the thing, I don't have all the answers, not even close. I'm not the thought leader in the room by far. I see myself as a thought contributor, and by that I mean my intentions with G'day Design Life is that it's not about me. It's about all of us. I want you to be part of the content I put out there, to encourage you to voice your opinions, your work, your humor, your personality, just like I have in my G'day Frank content. And yes, I will staunchly favor Aussies in the way I communicate, but it doesn't matter if you're from New Zealand, Africa, America, Canada, the Middle East, the subcontinent, Europe, South America, or Asia. And it doesn't matter if you're into logo design, web design, branding, brand strategy, UI, UX, illustration, or you're just a goddamn generalist of design. Good for you. This is for all of us. I'm here to learn with you because I myself am still learning. But what I do hope for is that I can give you a platform of understanding from maybe myself, but especially others, while even putting you up on that pedestal within this design community. So if this resonates with you, if you're a recent or soon to be graduate, or if you are considering starting or have just started a business, I hope you'll come along for the ride. Be part of the team, learn from others, have some fun, because let's face it, starting a business that you don't enjoy operating, that's a job, not a dream. Say g'day to your design life.